Hey guys, welcome to our channel. This is our Zygonisia Murasakikomachi. This orchid is a hybrid between Zygonisia cyanea and a Zygopetalum hybrid called Orchid. This is actually 75% Zygonisia, which comes from the Amazon rainforest in South America. It's a hot-growing, moisture-loving epiphyte. The other 25% is composed of Zygopetalum, which comes from Brazil and is a more cool-growing, shade-loving plant. So we're going to pot this one up with lots of sphagnum moss so it can remain moist, some charcoal to help with drainage so it's not sitting in water for super extended periods of time. Then we're going to put in some bark because these are of course epiphytic orchids, and we're going to let all of this soak in water so the bark will be ready to absorb moisture once we repot it. Usually you should let this soak for about 24 hours. And we actually mix some potting mix into this orchid. Now I know that's something that people don't usually do and some people freak out about it, but this orchid, the orchid of which it is 75% the Zygonisia cyanea, this orchid is actually often found growing completely submerged in the floodwaters of the Amazon River. When we say that it's moisture loving, it's a bit of an understatement. So these orchids, what we found is that they tend to like to stay wet so they can handle the potting soil much better than other orchids. You can see this is really big and root bound. These orchids will often grow and expand and fill the pot, so you want to give them a little room when you repot them. We're actually going to split this one into two different pots. Now we're going to split this, so we're going to slowly rework the roots, being careful not to damage them. You can see the last time it was repotted, this wasn't done, so there's sort of one root ball inside of a second one. It'll take quite a long time to untangle all of this. Just have to be very patient. Same time checking for any dead roots. This was actually previously planted in a potting soil heavy mix. I know people tend to freak out about this with orchids, but some orchids, those which can handle more moisture or which have some terrestrial orchid ancestry, can handle it better than others. Just cut through the center here with some sterilized shears. Separate this into different components for us to repot it. You can see this is a bit overcrowded. Maybe this should have been done a little bit earlier. It would have been easier to get in there. Find a good spot to cut the rhizome cleanly. Also want to be careful when doing this not to cut the actual bulbs, as that can be an entry point for infection. Now, one of the ways to protect said infection is to take all the areas you cut it and douse it with cinnamon. If you've ever done the cinnamon challenge, you know that cinnamon is extremely dry. It absorbs a lot of moisture, so it creates a condition where the cut can scab over and you won't get a bacterial infection. It also has some antimicrobial properties. So I'm going to put this in two different pots. We're going to take the areas where the new growth is growing out and put them more facing towards the center with the plant to one side. fill in around the roots. Make sure it's both filled in so it has lots of room to grow out into the media, but you also want to make sure that you're not making it so loose that the plant can't stand up. It's a fine balance. Shaking it is a good way to get the potting media in between all the roots. You can also just use your fingers to press in, but once again you have to be careful not to snap any of them. I'm going to take some dry bark and put that on the top. On one hand it looks nice, and on the other hand it holds down the plant. You can tamp it down a bit on top. There we go. Got a nice repotted Zygonisia, and this plant will grow and fill this pot rather quickly. And one of the great things about this orchid is that the new growth will get flowers throughout the year. A nice spike of very purple flowers that you saw in the beginning. Gonna wanna water it in.